Hey guys, this is Just Running Trains. In this video, we are going to check out the Lionel Trains Volume 2 catalog for 2026. This is a really cool catalog, so let's get into it. So here, you have this cool catalog cover with the Reading and Northern 1776. Let's open this up. And we start off with some America 250 locomotives, which there's been some really cool America 250 units made. Most American railroads have made these 250 units, but it's really neat to see some of these in model form. Of course, I love the Reading and Northern 1776. How they did like the front of it being like the blue and in the back the stripes like the American flag. So cool. That cool wheeling and late airy. The Canadian national ones, which that one is sharp right there. And then, yeah, just all these, which are neat. CPKC and UP ones. It's really neat looking BNSF engine. I really like that one. And you got a caboose and a flag. Some different stuff. And then my favorite America 250 units, the Norfolk Southern ones. Also, it's cool for me to see these in model form because I saw all three of these during the Big Boy Coast to Coast tour this year, so it's really neat to see these modeled, and I just think they're all really sharp paint schemes. Can't wait to see these come out. And they did the ES44 ones, which are also really cool looking. Like I said, NS created some really cool units for the anniversary of America, especially I like that one with the horse on it. And then you have the American Freedom Train Vision Big Boy, which is definitely, it's never happened before, but it almost like if 4014 had been running when they had that train, it like feels believable in a way, you know. And I also really like the America 250 celebration on the front because that's what 4014 really had on it throughout the Coast to Coast tour this year. So pretty cool. You got an Atlantic, America, some more diesels, including that really neat Burlington Northern one. I like that a lot. And then an S3, which I love those. I'm glad these are back. And that's a really cool America 250 version. I like that a lot. Or I don't think it's America 250. It's just, I think it's actually a bicentennial one, but still cool. And then those passenger cars. Some Lion Chief engines, which it's too bad these are just Lion Chief and not like 2.0 or something, because these are some really cool schemes. Like that Reading and Northern and the Conrail, I both really like. But yeah, so some cool schemes there. Steamer, some America boxcars, the state boxcars, which I really like these. I think these are really neat. I especially like the Maryland one because I am a Marylander, so I think that's cool. And they got other ones, you know, Massachusetts, South Carolina, New Hampshire, Virginia, New York, North Carolina, and Rhode Island. I guess they'll make maybe more or I don't know. It says it's the 50 state boxcar collection, so it's not the first 13 colonies. So maybe they'll make more of them. I don't know. Although they're America 250, so we'll have to see, I guess. But still pretty cool. And then the Vision Line Big Boys. Now we already knew about these because they released an announcement about them. They've actually been known to have been out for a while, but it's cool to see them in the catalog. And I especially like the tour edition of 4014. It has the eagle thing on the front, which is cool. And then the water tenders, which those are the actual ones they ran with 4014. So it's pretty neat. And these other big boys, I especially love the 49er one, which I think of as the hot dog train. I love that. Really cool. And those water tenders are neat. Yeah, they got the Lionel Lions big boy. Yeah, just neat. I always love the big boy. I mean, a lot of people are like, why are they doing big boys again? You know, they just did big boys, but there's just something about big boy. It's just a cool engine. I mean, yes, there's a lot of big boys right now, you know, with everybody making them. Are they going to flood the market? Maybe, but you know, the 250 schemes are never going to be made again, like the tour edition. And the big boy hype is so high right now. This is just the perfect time to do it. And then the Milwaukee Road Esprits. So glad these are back because I think these are really neat looking, especially the cylinder seam. Only one of the only Vision engines I mean, non-vision engines to have the cylinder steam effects. That's really cool. And I love the past Milwaukee passenger cars because the Sky Dome. Then you got Hiawatha versions, which is cool. This yellow Hiawatha, which I really like. It was like, I think it said they started pulling Union Pacific passenger trains, so they repainted their own equipment matched UP. It's cool because the cars are very UP looking, and I really like this fantasy scheme. S free, they did the match it, and more S frees. Again, I really like these. It's cool to see them back. And then the Russian decapods. These were really neat last time they made them, so I'm glad they're making more of them, especially like that one with the blue boiler. And then the E6s, these are cool to see. You know, you got two Pensy ones, of course, and this neat looking Strasbourg one, which is cool because there was an E6 that did operate at Strasbourg, so it's accurate. And then the Strasbourg dining cars, yes. There hadn't been any Strasbourg dining cars with, you know, the Strasbourg cars they made, and this is new tooling. So happy to see these. These look really good. Can't wait to see them. And it's really neat. They have station sounds too, which is definitely cool because, you know, only the 21-inch cars like had that, I think, so far. Like there wasn't any wooden cars with it, so it's pretty cool. Then you got a Pensy one, which I really like that scheme of Pensy cars. Very different. And then Great Northern, that's cool. Atlantics, these are always great looking. Good passenger engines. The UP, I like that Bandy Tender. That's a cool looking engine. Whoa. That's a cool looking engine. Yeah, the catalog thing on the site, it's very finicky. CSX Heritage, there's always more ES44 Heritage units. You never can get enough of those. In the NS Landmark series, yes, I love these things. There was two of them, the Altoona and the Atlanta, at the Big Boy display in Altoona. You can see there's Altoona and there is Atlanta right there. So really neat to see these in model. They're a new thing this year. I just think they're really cool looking with the NS and the red on the front. They're just beautiful looking. They celebrate some important cities. So I can't wait to see these modeled, and I think it's really cool they're doing all four. I really like the Altoona, especially. That's going to be such a sharp looking engine. Can't wait to see it. And then I also really like this caboose Lionel added. That's really neat. And the engine, the caboose together, that's going to be a really nice looking train. And then SC70 Aces, he's got some standard schemes and stuff. You know, UP, I think a special UP employee one. And you got this KCS unit, which is really cool. That's really neat. And then this BNSF set, which is really cool. Since you have this like fuel tender in between the diesels, don't usually see that. It's really neat. And I mean, it's got two diesels, two legacy ones, so that's pretty neat. And then U3OCs, these are always cool looking. I especially like the CSX ones. And then that Detroit Edison, this is a really cool looking set. I really like that paint scheme on the engine. I think that's really cool looking. And all those Colt cars. And then SD40-2s, classic diesel. GP18s, which one of them's kind of neat, has the classic NS paint. Not classic, but like the early NS paint scheme, which is cool because you don't see that much. S4s, milk cars, the beer cars, these were pretty neat looking. I especially like that graffiti one a lot. I always like graffiti cars. I think they're cool as you see that a lot in real life. And although, you know, it's sad that trains are being vandalized, it's also, you know, in model form, it's a really neat replication of what you see in real life. And then cabooses, hoppers, tankers, you know, standard cars. And then these, just normal box cars, but I really like these weathered rail box ones with graffiti. These are gonna look so cool because they're just gonna look like real cars, and just even these just pictures of them already look really great. And I love graffiti cars, and I think graffiti looks really good in rail box cars. They're very modern looking. I have two rail box cars with graffiti, So I can't wait to see these ones weathered and with graffiti. I'm definitely going to have to get one of those to add to the graffiti train because that is just cool. And you got insulated boxcars, woodside reefers, coal car packs. That's neat. And then some scale passenger cars, including more of these diners, including that cool looking royal blue one. Canadian National passenger cars, Aberdeen, Carolina Western, and then the trippy train. That's funny. Yeah, reminds me the trippy trolley they did. I guess that's adding on to that. And then Line Sheath 2.0 Mikados. They've made these quite a few times before, but I mean, they're good models. And I also like that Southern. It's really sharp. And then TMCC track inspection cars. It's really neat how they've been making all the motorized units again and adding TMCC. I feel like almost every catalog they bring one of those, which is really cool to see some of them come back. Now, the price tag on these is a little higher. Now, we want it to be $230 for a track inspection vehicle. That's hard. I mean, yes, it is TMCC, but that's just hard to pay because, for not like a super nice engine, but for a cheaper, older engine, you could probably buy a whole engine for that. It's just hard for me, at least, to buy something that small at the price where you could get an engine. But nonetheless, these are really cool, especially the hot rod one. And then there's the army stuff, which has something really neat. The return of the mobile missile launcher, which was one of my favorite post-war engines they ever made, because I absolutely love post-war space and military. I'm a big fan of the late 50s, early 60s space and military post-war stuff. So seeing these back with Lion Sheath 2.0 is really cool. And oh, it says launch included missiles with the tap of a button. So I hope that means through like the Bluetooth or cab free app or something, you can shoot missiles. That would be insane. But yes, just super happy to see those back. Area 51 version. And then there's my favorite thing in the catalog. I'm a big Star Wars fan. I always love the Star Wars page, but the Star Wars mobile missile launchers are so cool. Lionel, so far when making Star Wars, has made a few different engines. They made the RS Freeze in the set. They're making the Phantoms, and then the rocket passenger car things. I forget what those are called, but they're like the New York Central one. So those were all neat, but like the RS Free, I just feel like didn't look very Star Wars. The Phantom looked like too sleek for Star Wars, and then the issue with the rocket one is that it was like it's a cool car, but then is it going to look good with the Star Wars freight cars because it's a standalone passenger unit? But this is what I've been waiting for. This looks straight out of Star Wars. And I think part of it is this, it's not a typical engine. It's it's very bulky. I mean, when you see these things, they're very bulky looking. They're not smooth, but that's how Star Wars is. Star Wars is like that. Star Wars ships are not smooth and streamlined and shiny. They're dirty and blocky, and that's what makes it so unique. And I feel like this just really captures that. And plus, this is such a cool model anyway. So seeing this with Star Wars is unreal. They both look good, but my favorite's probably this New Republic one. I think the white color really fits Star Wars. And it's really sharp. And I mean, yeah, I just like these. Am I going to get one? I don't know, because I will admit, as much as I love these, the price tag is really high. It's really high. $650. I mean, look, it is high. It is high, especially for what this is. Like, is it worth spending that much on a Star Wars train? Is it, it's hard to say, but out of all the ones they made so far, this I think is the most worth it, but still hard to do. So I don't know if I'm going to get one because that's a lot of money, but it's really cool. So I like these a lot, and I'm so excited to see how they turn out. And then the original trilogy billboards, I'll probably definitely be getting these just to put on my layout, add some Star Wars flair. They're going to be really cool. And then you got the Kyber Crystal Hopper, which is really neat. And then the Death Star power station. And well, this is neat. But it's definitely pretty expensive. I mean, it's $350. The cool part of it, I think, is going to be the sounds. Kind of excited to see that, but still pretty neat. So, great Star Wars selection in this catalog. And you got this cool Lionel Lines post-war ready to run set. This is actually a really cool looking set. I like that. That then this American defense set. That's cool. Um Lion Chief 262s, Pensy, Great Northern, NYC, and then Lion Chief GP38s. They had the America ones earlier, but now they got some normal ones, including that really cool looking Canadian Pacific. I like that a lot. And you got only Harry Potter thing they're doing is just Hogsmeade billboards. Those are kind of cool. And then Looney Tunes billboards, and then an Acme tank. I kind of like the Acme tank. That looks good. Still, though, really expensive. $300. Um, Then you got NASA stuff, this Artemis 2 boxcar, which I really like because I am a big fan of NASA and space travel. I've always been fascinated by that. And Artemis 2 was really fun to watch when it happened. It was pretty impressive, very historical. So it's pretty neat to see this boxcar. And that car, I really like the NASA rail radar card. That looks so cool with the radar and all that stuff. This is probably going to be joining my rocket train. But yeah, that's really neat. Then you got the series they always do, the Wings of Angels, the Railroad History, personalized cars, and then welding cars, which is cool to see back because I love welding cars. I like that UP one a lot, and the PR. They both look good because I have one welding car. It was an LCCA UP one, and it's a really neat car. How it like flashes. It's pretty bright, the welding thing, but I always think these are really cool. It's glad to see them back. And then they got ballast dumpers. It's neat too. Halloween, Halloween Decapod. It's kind of funny. Halloween Diner. Oh yeah, the Polar Express Vision Big Boy. So they did a Polar Express Line Master Big Boy, and now they're doing a Vision one, which I think is crazy. I don't know who would want this thing. I just can't imagine spending $3,000 for a Polar Express Big Boy. But who knows? Maybe some people will, but yeah. So going on Christmas Big Boy. Be honest, I like this one even less than the Polar Express one. People like Christmas trains, so. Then Christmas passenger set, North Pole Central, um, a Christmas mobile missile launcher, which is funny. Um, then you got some Lion Chief steamers, Elf on the Shelf boxcar, different stuff. And you got some accessories, including She-Melt Magic Shop. So it's the Sergeant Stumpy's fireworks, but it's reworked into a magic shop. I kind of like that. An AEC glow in the dark hut. I like that a lot, especially since I have a little bit of a collection of AEC trains, so that's neat. And then spherical tanks. You got a normal one and a baseball one, which is funny. And then an AEC inspection vehicle. I like that a lot. That looks really neat. That's probably my favorite of the inspection vehicles. And then yeah, LCCA, make your own set. And yeah, that's that. So I think this was a really strong catalog with a lot of neat trains in it. It was, to be honest, more than I was expecting. Because usually for me, at least, the volume twos are a little more underwhelming compared to the big book catalog. But this one actually impressed me as much, if not more, than the big book this year. I just thought it had such a great variety and so many really neat looking trains. So yeah, this was really great, and I'm so excited for these trains to come in. Well, thanks for watching, and remember to always just run trains. See you next time.